So it's quite a big spot. Everything's centered around connecting with nature. Our yield here is education. One of the highlights of the garden, we have our potato beds. Everybody likes potatoes. We have, we'll look at it later, but we have a lao, the hoodoo gourd, but a lot of potatoes too. It's about for the community, by the community. So they're ingrown, they're taking care of it. They're also taking the harvests. We get a lot of potatoes out of this bed, which is unreal. Over here, we have our little skateboard ramp. That's just to kind of get another excuse. A lot of connecting with nature is sense of purpose. So we can get kids in here skateboarding. It gives them a purpose to be in a garden, to learn about composting, learn about wormeries, learn about building soils, and everybody just enjoying it, because that's what connecting to nature is enjoying nature and sort of wanting to protect it and building that motivation. Create another little water habitat in the middle of East London. Loads of toads and newts. Teaching people a bit about like there are natural pest control, gives people like a little animal to see and get it sort of connected with. Another little environment and something different to what you see generally around the estates in the local area. Mushroom growing. So a lot of what we're trying to do is make use of all the different spaces and habitats. This is where a lot of urban foxes kind of live, making it for biodiversity. Building in mushroom growing, we get a yield, biodiversity is happy, and we make a cool little space in a mostly neglected little corner of the garden.
We've had a few bonfires here.
This is one of the most magical places that we have. Fire pit area for a bit of outdoor learning. We run workshops here teaching about ocean conservation, a cool space or a little bit of a green paradise in the middle of a urban jungle. More composting. We can't have enough composters, can't have enough fertility, can't have enough use, circular economy. Our annual vegetables, everybody likes them, courgettes and spinaches and garlics. A little hothouse, chilies. Bengali community loves their chilies.
We love chilies.
What's the favorite chili?
Naga.
Naga, the most spiciest thing on the planet.
Yep.
And here, we grow them here. When they get big enough, strong enough, they go out into the garden. And then in here, super hot conditions. We grow things like yellow banana chilies, teaching kids and young people that not all chilies are red and come from Tesco shelves. Things in the natural world do look a bit different. So there's another little interesting element to the garden. And we have our big polytunnel. It's a growing space. It's also where we run workshops if it's raining. That's important. We don't want to get everybody wet, then they don't want to come back. We let the place go wild. Biodiversity and see all these pollinators. Bees are everywhere, they're loving that. Perennials. We grow interesting things like saltbush. We try and grow plants that teach people that aren't the normal food that they see in supermarket shelves. Get everybody interested and looking around. Most things in this garden are edible, medicinal, or got a story to be told around them. Over here, Abdul, do you recognize the plant up against the wall?
Is that hoodoo?
Yes. Do you want to say something about
So
hoodoo?
I think in the community, it's like pumpkin is the English word, but we grow like green style long pumpkins. They come out huge, like this big. And I think in the Asian community, especially growing it yourself and then harvesting it and then cooking it is a massive thing. And a lot of the female, I think, elderly enjoy it like massively. Like my mother enjoys it, my mother-in-law enjoys it, and they get a lot of joy out of growing it themselves and then cooking it. And honestly, I've never seen one vegetable cooked in so many different ways. It's crazy. You can get it in anything. Get it in like fish, meat, chicken, whatever you want.
So yeah, that was a big point. This year we've got more of the Bengali community involved in the garden. So we're growing, let's say, culturally sensitive food, or they are growing, I should say. Beans, tomatoes, hoodoo, chili, coriander, onions. That's about it.
Yeah, that's like, you've covered most of the bases there on Asian community cooking and food.
The idea, everybody that comes here puts in the work. We have a couple of different like growing teams. They come, they put in the work, they do the harvesting, they take all the food home. So it's a really nice little interesting place to get involved with. And lastly, we have our free library, books. We have a tool library. So anybody that wants to get into growing, they can come here, they can borrow tools. Everybody does bring them back, which is awesome. We have an upcycling area at the back where people can get pots and compost and stuff. We have our own tool, which we lock up at night. And lastly, we have a rainwater harvesting, which again, circular economy, keeping it all in here and teaching people the importance of doing things like holding on. Especially London, we had the 40 degrees heat waves last year. The idea of like the hose pipe bans, and they'd be able to capture and harvest your own rainwater is essential moving forward, and a good learning environment. And that's it from the food forest.
The community itself is very diverse. There's a lot of different religions, a lot of different cultures, and I think it shows how all the different cultures are coming together in the garden. So like when Kieran was saying how all the different fruits and stuff and the vegetables that are getting cooked that are from different cultural backgrounds, which is massive. They're building something together, and I think if this was taken away, then they would lose a lot of their outdoor time, exercise, I think, and being able to have leisure time with other women within the community, especially within our community. I know it's not a good thing to say, but as in the women are sort of, I would say, held back in terms of what they can and what they can't do. Yeah, just in terms of I think the culture, like, you don't really see the elderly women going out and like going to parks and enjoying themselves. But I think in this, where they see it as doing a motherly thing, so it's nice where all the mothers can come together and do something within the community, where it's not just the guys going out and getting stuff, it's the mothers doing it as well.
For the kids or people go surfing with Get Out, what are some of the apprehensions that they come out Get Out?
The first thing I heard personally was, it's like Asians don't surf. It's like we do go to the beach here and there. I think as communities, that's another thing that's growing. I think the Asian community are starting to go. I think it was massive to have Kieran and the Get Out here to take the kids on such a wonderful experience, to take children from our community where you don't see beaches, where you don't see surf, where you might not, some of the children might not even get to see sand, and we're taking them out to like these fabulous, lovely places. It was good that they got to give an insight to a lot of their parents who did happily send them, which was a massive thing.
Places like the Wave are important for people inland because it gives them more opportunities to experience things like surfing without them having to go so far out.
I'm mostly excited about learning how to surf, as it will be like a really exciting thing for me to do, as I've never done it before, so yeah.
Living in London is very different to places like the ocean because a lot of the time it's very busy and there's a lot of pollution and you don't always get time to just sit and look at nature. For us not to go into surfing and nature, it would feel like trapped because you can't experience all the things that some people get to do.
The most exciting and valuable thing about going out with Get Out is spending time with amazing people like Kieran and the team, and also being able to enjoy these activities with my friends.
So many physical and mental health benefits of surfing and accessing blue space. We try to nurture those also, like that, as I said, that confidence, self-esteem, even the problem solving, falling off that board 20 times before you get that wave. That's all life skills that they're going to bring back into their community. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to bridge that gap. They are disconnected from nature where they live in East London. We want to connect them back to nature, and by doing that, we've got to bring them to these places that they've never been before. So there's no real point in us taking them one time and then you might not be able to do this again. We give them that sort of way of joining a club, being part of something, and keep up with their surfing, keep up with their accessing and connecting to nature. I mean, nobody that goes actually in the water with the kids, whether it's the surf instructors, whether it's myself, whether it's their teachers, everybody's stoked at the end of the day. Like, it's one of the best experiences you could have. I mean, I spend my summers doing that, so I'm like, I'm buzzing all summer. It gets me out, it keeps me off the streets and gets me away from the desk, and that's good enough for me.